This is Richard Jacobs from myduiattorney.org, and I'm here today with Freddie Woods, a DUI lawyer out of South Carolina, and he's agreed to take his time today and do an interview with me, and I appreciate you being here, Mr. Woods.
Thank you very much. Nice to speak with you.
Well, let's just get right into the questions. My first question for you is, what made you choose to handle DUI cases, and why do you practice this area of law?
Well, ever since I was 9 years old, I knew I wanted to become a lawyer. First thing I did was make sure I got out of high school really well in terms of my grades. After that, I went to college. I attended grad school. Then I went straight to law school, and I finished at 25 years old. Being a lawyer was a way for me to be able to help society in some way, and also to be able to make a good living for myself and do something that I thought would be good for me and good and respectable.
Okay. And in particular for DUI, what made you choose that area to practice as well?
DUI law is a subset of criminal law. I only practice two types of areas of law. One would be criminal law. The other would be personal injury. Personal injury is usually auto wrecks and accidents, things of that nature. Criminal law is murder cases on down to traffic tickets. A subset of criminal law is DUI law. DUI law is probably the type of area of law that is best for me in terms of matching my skills and abilities with the ability to be able to help people. It allows you to be able to do a large number of trials very quickly. It allows you to be able to kind of interact with prosecutors, interact with juries, and it helps to kind of get your name out there as well.
Okay. So how many DUI cases in particular have you handled, and in what time period?
I typically handle about 300 to 400 DUI cases a year. That equivocates to about 4,000 cases in terms of my career. I've been practicing over 14 years. So the DUI is definitely something that I handle a large number of cases, on a continual basis.
Yeah, it's a lot of experience. That's good. Is there a typical circumstance of the people that come to you that were arrested? Do you get more men or women? Do you get more first-timers? What do you see?
The way it breaks down is about 50% of the people are first-timers. They've been arrested for a DUI first. In most circumstances, they've never ever had another criminal case. They've never been arrested for anything else, and they just kind of slipped up and got arrested. The other 50% are people who've had DUI second, third, and sometimes fourth offenses, and they've really done this over a long period of time. It kind of coincides with times that they've been depressed or times that they were out having a good time and drinking and partying and ended up having a DUI. But most first-time offenders do not become repeat offenders. In terms of demographics, age, I would say, again, between 20 and 30, more men than women, probably 60% men, 40% women.
And then in terms of the level of intoxication, do you see a lot of people that are close to the .08 limit, or do you see a lot more that are a lot higher?
Usually I see people who are between .08, which is the legal limit, to .15. After about a .15, it starts to become a very serious charge, and you can get some serious jail time for it. So generally, they fall between .08 and .15 in terms of their intoxication level.
Okay. And then out of all these cases that you've done, have a large percent gone to trial, or have a larger percentage plea bargained or settled before the trial? About
80% are settled out of court. The other 20% are cases that go to trial. Out of the cases that go to trial, usually by the time that we impanel a jury and the time that we let the prosecutor know that we're serious, a lot of times we can get an offer out of that. Out of the ones that are the hardcore cases that do not change, we take them to trial. It usually lasts between 1 to 2 days.
Okay. And what would you say is unique about the DUI laws in the counties that you serve and also your state?
There are 46 counties in the state of South Carolina. Of those counties, there are 3 large metropolitan areas. Those areas being Greenville, South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, which is the capital city, and Charleston, South Carolina, which is down on the coast. The way that it works out in terms of counties is that there are counties where the majority of the DUI action happens, and that is in Greenville, which is near the top of the state and near the border with North Carolina. That also happens down around Charleston, where it's a big tourist area, and a lot of people will, party way too much down there. And it also happens in the capital city in Columbia. Columbia has a number of different universities and colleges, and that's where we see the majority of our college kids that get in trouble for DUI. So the way that it shapes up is in the three metropolitan counties, we see a lot of activity. In the smaller, more rural areas, Bamberg, for example, Cherokee County, Anderson County, or all throughout the state, we don't see as much activity.
Okay. What would be your best tip? Someone's been driving and the lights come on behind them. They're being pulled over. They may have had one or more drinks. What should they do? What shouldn't they do during this time that they're being pulled over?
Yeah, well, if they get pulled over, the first thing they should probably do is remain calm. A lot of people get very nervous, and you have to remember the officers are going to be looking for changes in the tone of your voice. They're going to be looking for nervousness. They're going to be looking for you to be excitable or irritated. Those sort of things show them that you've done something wrong, whether it's drinking or there's drugs in the car or there's something else that is occurring. So the first thing you need to do is remain really calm. The second thing you need to do is answer only the questions that are asked of you. If you answer other questions, you tell them everything about where you're going, everything about where you've been, and everything that you're going to do the next day, it doesn't really help your case. It only helps your case that you answer the officer respectfully and you tell him exactly what you've been doing in terms of, I've only had one drink tonight or something like that, if he asks you. I don't usually tell people to lie. I don't want them to. I want them to be able to be truthful, but I don't want them to do anything that hurts their case.
Okay. So what kinds of help can you provide to someone that's been arrested? For instance, maybe reduce their jail time or reduce some requirements for, the license suspension, things like that. What kind of things can you do?
Well, getting an attorney is probably the best thing that you can be able to do. And I'll give you an example. If you end up getting, say, a DUI first, it's going to cost you between $2,000 and $4,000 just in the fines that they carry. After that, your SR-22 insurance that you have to get will be for 3 years, and that will dramatically increase your insurance rates. Sometimes we're seeing rates as high as $3,000 every 6 months for even a basic car, such as an '05 Honda Accord.
Wow.
So what you want to do is you want to look at it from the standpoint of what is giving me the best benefit, and the best benefit is to be able to get an attorney. For example, how can an attorney help you? If you need to, if you have a charge, for example, for DUI first, and you get the minimum charge, it's going to be around $400. The base bottom minimum that you get is that. There's nothing else that you would have to pay. If it's not a DUI and it becomes a different charge, such as a DUAC or a reckless driving charge, the fines and fees can be even less. One thing that we can do is reduce a charge of a DUI down to a DUAC if there would be sufficient evidence to convict someone of a DUI. Why is that important? If you have a DUAC, it goes on your driving record, not on your criminal record. So you can't be barred for any jobs. You do not have to answer yes if they say if you have a criminal record, because you don't. You just have a driving record that may be particularly bad.
Okay.
If you want to be able to get a charge for reckless driving as opposed to a DUI, we can do that too. A reckless driving charge carries $445 as the total minimum fine. There is no jail time. There's no probation. There's nothing else that you would have to do. There's not even a requirement that you attend any programs such as the Alcohol and Drug Safety Action Program known as ADSAP here. So there's a lot of things an attorney can be able to do to help you. So on your own, you'd have about $10,000 to $20,000 in total fees, increased insurance, and kind of major problems. With an attorney, you're looking at $10,000 or less, depending on whether you have a DUI first through a DUI fifth.
Okay.